Hey honeys, welcome back to my channel, and today I actually wanted to talk to you all about my trying to conceive journey, what that was like, especially after my miscarriage back in September. So I'm going to get into all of it right now, and I'm going to take you with me into my bathroom. Okay, so you're currently with me in my bathroom, and the reason for that is because this is basically where I kept everything that I've used during my trying to conceive journey. For example, ovulation sticks, pregnancy sticks, pads, the whole lot. Now this journey, and if you haven't seen my previous video, you may not know, but I am currently around 19 weeks pregnant, and I wanted to go ahead and jump on here and talk to you about what helped me in trying to conceive, especially after my miscarriage back in September. So after my miscarriage in September, of course, you know, it was a miscarriage, so I didn't actually realize that I was about to miscarry until I feel like at my 12-week scan, my brain caught up with my body. It was one of those very overwhelming experiences, and unfortunately I had a miscarriage. I ended up miscarrying at home. I did have a D&C booked, however it just ended up happening before that, so it was very painful. However, you know, we're here now, and I've been getting a lot of questions on my TikTok and on my Instagram of like pregnancy tips and things that helped me whilst I was trying to conceive. So I thought I'm going to go ahead and share all of that with you today. So stay tuned, because there is going to be a lot of good info in here. And also, this video is by no means giving you any advice on what to do on your journey. It's just me sharing my experience and what worked for me. Okay, so I have PCOS, and I have had PCOS for many years now. However, through nutrition, through exercise, through following my own programs, I've been able to manage a lot of my symptoms and of course regulate my period. Now, when it comes to trying to conceive, you of course want to make sure that you are having a regular period, so you are regularly ovulating, and you can also easily track when you are ovulating. There were a few ways that I wanted to track my ovulation, so I'll share the ones which I did this time. So basal body temperature is a big one. However, I found myself being not so consistent with that. So the two that I mainly relied on were ovulation sticks, and the only reason I relied on ovulation sticks was because my period was regular. And then the other thing was my cervical mucus. So when I started noticing that my cervical mucus was becoming a little bit more on the watery side, I would say like watery, egg whitey. I know TMI, but do you know what? If you're on this channel, I'm sure you're good with TMI stuff. So it was more like watery, egg whitey, cervical mucus, which means that you are showing signs of ovulation. So these are actually the ovulation sticks that I got, and I got these from Amazon. So I don't know if you can see them clearly. I'm just going to pop them on the screen. Okay, there we go. They are called Easy at Home Ovulation Sticks. I'm just torn up the box in the worst way. But they basically go ahead and come with a bunch of these little ovulation packs. I can actually open it up for you and show you what it's like on the inside. You know, I'm not using one right now, so I'll just open it and show you. But it's a little stick like this, and you basically pee into a cup, go ahead and drop this in here. 2 lines means that you're ovulating. Now, I started ovulating after my miscarriage. I would say after my miscarriage, I was bleeding for at least a good week and a half. And then 5 days after that, I actually decided to do an ovulation test, and it was a faint positive. I knew that I wasn't at my peak at that point. So with these Easy at Home and with the pre-mum ovulation sticks, you can download the pre-mum app, and what I was doing was I was taking pictures of my ovulation and what it looked like, and then basically going ahead and tracking it in there, so it would tell me when I'm at my peak. Now, of course, I was actually doing the deed before, like just a few days before I knew I was going to go ahead and ovulate, during ovulation and after ovulation, just to increase the chances. So that is basically the ovulation stick side of things. In case I'm going out of breath, I feel like pregnancy is one of those things where I'm like constantly out of breath and constantly thirsty, so give me a second. I'm also going to be sharing a diagram of what different cervical mucus means. So this over here is a picture which gives you a good example of your cervical mucus and what you can be looking out for when you are checking for ovulation. Hopefully you found this a little bit helpful. Now, the other thing that I wanted to get into was my partner's side of things. Now, I feel like what tends to happen, especially as women with PCOS, if we aren't able to conceive straight away, we're here thinking about, oh no, it's us. And I definitely found myself doing that, being told from a very young age that I wouldn't be able to conceive naturally. I automatically had this thing in my mind which was like, because of me, this is going to be really tough. But it's not necessarily the case, and you also have to look at your partner. So there are a lot of things when it comes to, you know, sperm health and men's health that can affect the quality of the sperm, like morphology and stuff like that. So I'm going to touch on it a little bit, and I actually have my partner's results with me, so I'm going to read them to you just to give you a bit more insight. I did ask him if I could do this and he's totally cool with it. Okay, so jumping into my partner's results. Now I'm going to give you a bit of a backstory as well, because you might want to know that. If you don't want to know that, just skip ahead like about 30 seconds. But about a year ago, my partner and I decided to go and see a private fertility clinic because I basically wanted to go ahead and get a good understanding of where I was at, what my like, you know, health was, and what my like hormonal health was. So I wanted to get some blood tests, I wanted to get a scan, and through the NHS it's not always super easy to go ahead and get yourself referred. I haven't had the best experience with my GPs and doctors, so I just decided to go privately. There was a clinic in central London. I feel like they've changed their name, however I will try and link their name in the description. But there was a clinic in central London who were doing a package for around, I want to say like around £400 at the time, where it's like you and your partner can come in and you can both basically get checked out and they give you like feedback and everything. So I did that. And I'm not gonna lie, like in my head I was thinking, okay, basically I'm just going for me, like my partner's coming but he's gonna be totally fine. And funnily enough, when they were doing my tests, because of course my nutrition, my exercise, everything has been so on point for a while in correlation with, you know, being able to create some happy hormones and take care of my PCOS, I was actually okay. So I didn't really show signs of cysts on my ovaries or anything like that. My PCOS was perfect, my blood tests were great. But on the side of my partner and my partner's side of things, I'm actually reading it just over here, but he actually had low sperm quality, and that was due to high oxidative stress, not enough antioxidant consumption, heavy weightlifting, and also because my partner is on the muscular side because of all the weightlifting he does. On the scales, his BMI was considered overweight. So his sperm count was low sperm count, 9 million, 50 to 200 million is usually the 15 to 200 million is usually the normal range, but he had good morphology. So I think my point here is, even though as women with PCOS it is so easy to go ahead and just blame yourself constantly. I'm not saying my partner's to take the blame or anything here, but basically it's not always you. So remember, like our partners, it's a 50-50 thing trying to conceive. So make sure, you know, you get your partner checked out too, and through better nutrition, through going ahead and lowering his stress levels, through bettering his training, and through making sure that we're actually cutting down on the amount of red meat we eat and actually pushing for more like salmon and things with like good omegas in it. We actually started eating a lot more like white meats, so like white fish, chicken, stuff like that. It was really, really helpful for both my partner's health and my health. So that was one of the things that we started doing. So now that I've gone into that, let's go ahead and talk about trying to conceive after the miscarriage, because of course all of these tests that we had done were done, I'd say over a year ago, so even before I managed to conceive for the first time. So after the miscarriage, trying to conceive was actually a little bit difficult. I think it was more difficult on my mental health because I didn't know if I was ready, but I knew I wanted it a lot. I think the main reason why I didn't know if I was ready was because I did not know if I was ready to be in a very high anxious state, simply because I knew that the next time I was gonna get pregnant, so I am pregnant now, I knew that I'd be quite anxious about it. And honestly, my first words when I saw my positive pregnancy test was, oh, like beep, you know, I was really stressed out. I do remember tracking my ovulation though, and you know, doing the deed on the ovulation days before ovulation and afterwards So that was something that was really, really helpful. I was maintaining a good diet. I was making sure to take care of my stress levels, meditating a lot. Meditation is something that I'm going to get into. Hopefully I'll be creating some great meditation sessions for you as well. I teach a lot of meditation classes for our PCOS clients at Fitness with Keisha, so hopefully I can bring a few of those to you. But I actually started also tracking my 2-week weight and how I felt during the 2-week wait. So I'm going to get into that. Back in December, I actually went ahead and wrote a bunch of notes on my iPhone about how I was feeling and what my pregnancy symptoms were through the 2-week wait. Now the 2-week wait is basically when you've ovulated, you've done the deed to try and conceive, and now you're basically waiting for 2 weeks to see whether or not you get your period or whether you get your big fat positive or what happens, okay? So during my 2-week wait, I'm going to talk through all of the symptoms from 5 days past ovulation all the way to 12 days past ovulation when I tested positive. So on the 5th day, I wrote over here, feeling like I'm getting a cold, little nauseous, bloating in big capital letters, so much egg whitey cervical mucus. So that's how I felt 5 days past ovulation. I was still having that cervical mucus that showed its signs of ovulation, but I don't know if it was signs of ovulation because obviously I had already ovulated. 6 days past ovulation, this is me writing it at 5 AM midnight. I wrote random insomnia, needing to wee, nausea, bloating, wet cervical mucus. 7 days past ovulation, I wrote tired, nausea, feeling like I have a little bit of a cold, some mild cramping, still bloated. I think that mild cramping could have been implantation. So when the egg was going ahead and actually implanting, you can sometimes, if you are quite in tune with your body and if you are quite sensitive, a little bit like I am, you can tend to feel these things. So I do feel like I felt that happening. And then 8 days past ovulation, tired, cold flu, overthinking, and big fat no, because I did a pregnancy test on 8 days past ovulation and it was negative and I was just so upset. I just remember that. And I was overthinking a lot because I was like, you know, like I can't explain it, but I'm pregnant now and I don't think I've ever felt so like fulfilled in my life. Like there's a lot of things, touch wood, and I thank the universe that I've been able to do to help a community of women through like my business and through Instagram, TikTok. But this pregnancy is definitely one of the best things that have ever happened to me. Okay, and then 9 days past ovulation, I wrote bloating, given up, tired. 10 days past ovulation, I was still committed. Okay, I was committed. I wrote 10 days past ovulation, flu, feeling really cold, question mark. Like I felt like I had a temperature, I remember that. Bloated AF, that's what I wrote, bloated AF. I was extremely bloated. 11 days past ovulation, stomach pains, tired. And then 12 days past ovulation, I remember waking up. And I remember waking up and being like, I'm just gonna go take a test. I don't know what it was, but something in my mind was like, I'm gonna go take a test, because my period was basically due. I hadn't got it. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go do it. And then I tested positive. So I hope that this has taken you a little bit more into depth with that. I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant from tomorrow. I am in my 2nd trimester. I don't know if I can show you here, but I definitely have the bump going on. And I just feel grateful, very, very grateful every single day. I think up until I was in my 2nd trimester, probably 14, 15 weeks, I was still mentally working myself up because, you know, after experiencing a miscarriage, you constantly tend to overthink, like to the point every time I was going to the toilet, I was wiping myself and checking for any blood, which is not something that you intend to do, but it happens. But I'm very grateful. I am looking forward to becoming a mummy, and I am looking forward to this journey and sharing it with all of you. So I hope this really helps, and if right now you are on this journey of trying to conceive, I understand it can be draining, it can be overwhelming, and it can be a lot. So if you ever need to talk, like just like even send a voice note and get someone to listen, I am all ears. Like I tend to answer a lot of my DMs, so please do feel free to drop me a DM if you ever need to talk. And yeah, if you were interested, we are currently coaching a lot of other clients who are trying to conceive, and just in March and in April, and we're only halfway through April, we've already had like I think 8 positive pregnancies from our clients. So it's lovely. It's lovely to see, and I'm just very grateful and very, very excited. So thank you so much for taking your time for watching, and I'm going to pop my subscription over here, so make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you give this a like, and drop it a comment. Make sure you drop a comment if you really enjoyed it, and I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sending you all a lot of positive energy and baby dust if you are on your trying to conceive journey.